This is Grace with Graceful Living.
Hi, my name is Grace O'Neill. I'm an emergency physician in Hawaii, and today I wanted to talk about some new evidence on which masks are more effective and about how you should not wear a mask.
First, I want to talk about the right and the wrong way to wear a mask. I've seen some people wear a fluid shield, which I am wearing in this picture, but they do not have a surgical mask below them. This does not protect anybody else from your respiratory secretions. So if you are going to wear a fluid shield, please wear a surgical mask under it. This will provide some protection for you and also provide protection for others from you if you have COVID. Don't get me wrong, the fluid shield is definitely great for eye protection, but I just wanted to say that make sure you also wear a surgical mask or a mask underneath the fluid shields. I also wanted to comment on the way some people are wearing their masks. I've seen a lot of people wear face masks below their nose. This is not protecting them from inhaling respiratory droplets, and it is also not protecting others if they sneeze. I've also seen people pull down their masks to talk to people, but this is not protecting others from their respiratory secretions, and they are also not protecting themselves from COVID. So now I'm going to go and answer some common questions people have about face masks. The first question is, does a face mask protect the wearer from COVID at all? And if so, how much? A face mask does provide the wearer some protection. It is not as good as an N95 mask, which we save for healthcare workers, but there is still some protection in a face mask. This study tested 29 different fitted face masks on one man and one woman to see how effective they were in preventing the virus from getting through the face mask. As you can see, an N95 above is much more effective than a surgical mask in protecting from the virus. The N95 mask prevented 98.5% of particles from entering, whereas the surgical mask with ties prevented only 70% of the particles from entering. Surgical mask with ties prevented more particles from entering than the face mask with ear loops, though, which only prevented 38% of particles from entering. However, I am not sure that this is the case for everyone. It depends how well the mask fits on your face, and they only did this study on one female and one male. This is another study that looked at data from a bunch of different studies from different countries, looking at the transmission of SARS-CoV-2 as well as MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, and other coronaviruses when wearing face masks and eye protection. As you can see from this table, which summarizes their findings, a face mask as well as eye protection reduce the transmission of viruses. Also, physical distancing, at least greater than a meter, helped as well. So try to stand farther away from people. We all know that wearing masks prevents other people from catching the virus from us if we have it, as some people can be asymptomatic as well when they contract the virus. In this study, they examined flu viruses, coronaviruses, and the common cold viruses to see how much a face mask can prevent people from spreading these viruses. As you can see from this diagram, both droplet particles and aerosol particles were reduced by wearing face masks. Another question is, what face masks are more effective? in preventing COVID-19 spread. Now I'm going to talk about a recent Duke University study which ranked 14 different kinds of face mask by effectiveness. They examined these 14 different kinds of masks. The speaker stated, "Stay healthy, people," 5 times in a normal volume voice. They had 4 different speakers and measured the droplets that they produced. These are the results of the study. The fitted N95 produced the least amount of droplets. Then the surgical mask came in second place. The polypropylene surrounded by 2 layers of cotton came in third place. The mask with 2 layers of synthetic material came in fourth place. Then came a bunch of different cotton masks. The N95 mask with valve came in between a bunch of cotton masks, likely because it was designed to protect the user and not other people. This is why they are no longer allowing these types of masks to be worn in airplanes, and also healthcare workers are not allowed to wear these masks in hospitals. Less effective masks include the knitted mask made from a t-shirt, the bandana, and then the fleece mask produced more droplets than no mask, and they think this is because the fleece mask was able to split up larger droplets into smaller droplets to create more. Of course, this all depends on your face type too and what mask will fit you best. Just know that the bandana and gaiter is pretty ineffective, and so is the mask made from a t-shirt. I did want to add that if you have a beard, it is probably not a good time to keep a beard because it is hard to have a good fitting mask when you have a beard. One more question I've been asked is, what is a KN95 mask? N95 masks are US standards for respiratory masks, and KN95 masks are the Chinese standards for the masks. To be certified as a KN95 mask, the Chinese government requires the manufacturer to run a special mask fit test on real humans with less than or equal to 8% leakage. The N95 mask standard does not require manufacturers to run fit tests. In the United States, hospitals will individually test each healthcare worker to see which mask fits them the best. What is the difference between an N95 mask and a KF94 mask? They look pretty similar, and they filter nearly identical percentages of particles. The N95 filters out 95% of particles, and the KF94 filters out 94% of particles. The KF94 is from Korea, and it is more similar to the European Union standards than the US standards. US certification agencies test filtering performance using salt particles, whereas European and Korean standards test against salt and paraffin oil. There are other small differences as well. The standards require N95 masks to be somewhat easier to breathe out. Korean masks are required to test for CO2 clearance, which prevents CO2 from building up inside the mask. The N95 masks don't have this requirement. However, one study found that even during moderate exercise, women wearing N95 masks had no difference in blood oxygen levels. Also, Korea requires human fit tests, but the US N95 certification does not require it, like I said before. So what's the difference between an N95 and a P2 mask? The P2 rating is the standard in Australia and New Zealand. That's similar to the N95 mask rating. They're nearly identical, but the P2 mask filters out about 94% of the particles. P2 standards borrow more from Europe than the United States. The manufacturers must perform fit tests on real humans. The N95 manufacturers, like I said before, do not. the P2 masks are somewhat easier to breathe out of, and Australia requires manufacturers to test their masks for CO2 clearance, which prevents CO2 from building up inside the mask. So the P2 masks are more similar to the KF94 masks than the N95 masks, but they are all very similar. I have one more thing to say. Watch out where you buy your N95 mask. A lot of the N95 masks have not passed testing. In a rush to purchase masks and mass produce these masks, the quality may have gone down. Another problem is these fake internet storefronts where people are claiming that they are producing masks that you can buy, and customers go to buy the masks and they never receive their product. Please be careful and buy from a legitimate supplier. Thank you for your attention, everyone. I hope that this was valuable information that you can use. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Please go to graceinhawaii.com for more information.